Hi, I'm Fred.
And I'm Fred.
Together, we are Vertical Gardens.
Welcome to Food Thursday.
So, we are here to talk about vertical farming.
Yes.
This is what you do.
Yes.
How long have you been doing it?
As a business, just hit our 1 year mark. In terms of research, me and my cousin have been doing this for the last 4 years.
And you know, it's a new concept. It's only just beginning to be accepted in Kenya specifically. So what exactly is vertical farming? How do people plant crops vertically?
So vertical farming is where you take advantage of the space above your land, basically the airspace you have. So where people would regularly plant on the ground, vertical farming, as long as you have the right means, you're able to grow up, basically. Yeah.
So other than the conventional farming where you have this specific amount of land and then you plant on it, so it's maximizing on the space that you have, so you can go as higher.
Yeah.
And have, okay.
Yes.
So then that means the produce then will be more?
Yes, because you are growing more on a piece of land by going up. That invertedly means that you will get more yield for your crop than you would get conventionally.
And so how does one begin vertical farming?
First of all, you have to identify what you want to grow, and then you look at your space. Now, say if you're living in a balcony and you know you want to grow your tomatoes, your hohos, your lettuce, your bell peppers, your herbs and all of that, then we offer solutions for people living specifically in apartments to take advantage of those means to grow vertically.
Well, given that they have limited space on the ground.
Yes. So it still allows you to have, you're not going to fill your balcony, because if there was no vertical farming and you are growing conventionally, then you'd basically have to fill your apartment with troughs and pots, and you wouldn't have any space out there, any outdoor space. But our systems are small enough in that you can have it at a corner in a balcony, still grow your produce and be able to take advantage of your outdoor living area.
And there's passion in farming, because you are pretty young. So where does it begin from?
I credit all that to my background in my family. My cousin and I have grown up in a family that loves farming and also encourages building your own and creating your own. So we started farming from around 5 years old. We started farming here at home, and then we moved on to Kajiado.
So you always had the interest?
Yes. I think it was sort of... Yeah, I think it was by design. You grow up and your parents are like, let's go to the shamba. So you go, you start playing, and then you start picking weeds, and then slowly you learn that this plant is for this, and this is how this plant grows. So as you grow up, it sort of becomes part of your personality and part of your interests. So because it was something we did start to enjoy when we were young, it's now followed us on until now, where we have started our own business and are hoping to impact others into the same journey.
Okay, and so you settled for vertical farming?
Yes.
Why exactly?
Again, we were tired of, conventional farming. We saw the need that if you can have this piece of land and this land gives you, this X tons of tomatoes every week or so, if you could add certain properties or functions to that land that allow you to increase your yield by growing more into your available space, then you're able to get more produce. So, it's sort of like the same concept with housing and apartments. You could either live in one house or build several houses on top of each other. So it was the same concept that we took, and we were like, let's apply the same thing for farming.
Okay, so how long has the business been in existence?
So we started this business in April of last year, just when Corona had hit. And now we are 1 year old. So far so good. Lots of good responses from our customers, lots of new customers on the way. It's been quite fun, I can say.
Okay. So when one wants to start to get into this niche of business, what do you need?
Well, first you need to have a passion for growing your own food. It's like I can't force you into swimming if you want to learn how to swim. So the same thing, you have to have a desire to learn how to grow crops. If you have that as a background, then it's fairly straightforward for you. The next thing is, so one, you have to have a desire or a passion for it. Then you have to have the willingness to learn. Then again, you have to look at your space and look at what system do you want for your space. What do you want to grow? What's your immediate need? Because some crops don't work well for vertical farming. Say if you're living in an apartment, like I can't expect you to grow your maize or your beans for your githeri. It'll be
so long.
Exactly. So you now look at your consumables, your skuma wikis, your spring onions, your herbs, your tomatoes, your bell peppers, your strawberries. Those are the things that you'd probably like have on a day-to-day. Some of these things you'd probably go and pick up on an occasional basis, say like your strawberries, for example. And now we just cut out the need for you to go out and get there. It saves you a lot of effort, a lot of money in the long run. And it's a peace of mind of knowing that this is my food, I know where it comes from, it's all safe and it's clean and it's healthy.
Mm-hmm. And what about the use of water? Is it different from when you're farming conventionally?
Yeah, very much so. Because our systems feature a recycling system. Basically what happens is there's an irrigation system we built into all our products. How it works is water flows, because we don't use soil per se, we use a substrate called cocoa pit or pumice, which is volcanic rock. Cocoa pit.
So it's soilless as well?
Yes, it's soilless. Those, once they've absorbed enough water, they let go of the excess. So all that excess water flows back into the system and it's recycled. So you actually find you're saving around 80% of water that you'd use conventionally. So again, you save on water, you maximize on your space. It's a win-win for both you and for the environment.
Okay, then if it saves on water, why aren't we all doing it?
Because I think things do take their time to catch on. Hopefully within a few years this will be a trend that will pick up. It's something that's happening around the world. It's not just here in Kenya. It's sort of like a global shift that people are starting to see the advantages of hydroponics and vertical farming, and that you save on water, you save on space, you get more yield per square meter depending on how high you go. So slowly but surely the future farms are not going to be large-scale farms. They are going to be in warehouses, in cities, abandoned rooftops or unused space. Basically you can turn that into a farm. So it's a trend that will slowly pick up. It's happening in the larger countries, in US, in Canada, China, like leading the way on this. So it's only a matter of time before it's like fully rolled out and implemented here.
So now when we think about farming, it doesn't have to be, you think of soil, you think of water, you think of a large piece of land.
Yes. So again, it's a mind shift, it's a shift in mindset. You don't have to have soil to plant your crops. You don't have to have a big piece of land to plant your crops. It's what space do I have? Okay, I have this space. Then we are able to come up with a solution. Even if you want something completely custom, and that's something we specialize in, we're able to deliver that for you.
And what are the challenges that you experience?
I think it's just, again, a shift in mindset. Some people don't believe that this is possible until you show them and they come here and they see that this is completely soilless, water is recirculating. So I guess it's, just breaking these, old norms of thinking. And luckily people are embracing it, people are seeing the potential it has. So I can say that's now, it's not really a challenge, it's just a hurdle we have to overcome. As with proper education and proper exposure and awareness, people will begin to see the efficiency and the effectiveness of vertical farming.
So what you do here, you're not selling your produce to the market, you are helping people set up more of this nature of warehouses and vertical farming.
Yes. Very soon though we will begin to sell our produce, because we have noted that the quality we get from our produce, just even here, is far more superior than what you get in any supermarket. So with time, with scale, we'll be able to slowly introduce our products into supermarkets, into restaurants, value add some of these products. Yeah, so it's slow but sure.
Okay, so and when you first plant, say there's a skuma wiki, among the things you have strawberries, how do you go about it? How long do they take to grow? And I know on a conventional farm, there's a time to till the land, then you plant, then there's time to uproot weeds.
Yes.
So there's the whole that process.
Yes.
So what is the process that goes on in here?
So the planting process is more or less the same. I mean, you don't have to like go with a tractor and dig up the land.
You don't need a djembe either.
Yeah, you don't need a djembe either. It's quite fast because you're not dealing with weeds. It also saves you the time and that labor of dealing with chucking any weeds that seem to come up. But yeah, it's more or less sort of the same process. You have to put something, cover it with your cocoa pit or your pumice and water it constantly. Yeah. The same principles do apply. It's just the media you're using and how you use your water back again.
Okay. So say when we're planting on ground, then we need to water regularly and then maybe prune. So the same process goes for this.
Yeah, you still have to prune, you still have to water your plants. It's now for us, because we feature automated irrigation systems, you don't have to like worry about watering it manually every single day. It'll come with a timer, so the system knows at 9 o'clock I'm supposed to go on for 3 minutes. It'll water itself, switch itself off. At 12 o'clock I'm supposed to go on for 3 minutes, still do the same thing. So you don't even, it's just like a plug play. All you need to do is check on your plants, make sure your leaves are looking okay, they're happy, prune what needs to be pruned, and yeah, it's a very easy form of farming.
Okay. And how long does it take compared to when crops are grown on a conventional farm? Is it faster?
Yes, it is faster because you're feeding your plants with nutrients directly in a more controlled environment. Two, they're not competing for nutrition with weeds and all of that. And there's a good water and airflow. So you find with our systems where conventionally if lettuce was to take 75 days to grow, we're doing that in about 50 days. If you're finding tomatoes would take around a month or two to start harvest, we're able to harvest within a month. So it's just faster all around because the environment for the plants is more suitable for them to perform better.
Okay, so, and I know some crops can be different. Others might need more water than others. But is that a problem when it comes to the hydroponics?
No. What we do is you have to pair the crops that need the same water requirement, and then just plug that with the timer, and it runs by itself. Yeah.
So you have to identify plants that go together.
Yeah.
That would need, say, same conditions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, you look at the environment as well. If it's been raining, then you don't need to keep on watering them as well. And again, our systems are on a timer, so we know when to feed the plants with nutrient-enriched water. So, in a way, it's sort of like us as humans. I wake up, I eat breakfast, I have my lunch at 1 o'clock. At probably 7 or 8, I'm going to have my dinner. The same way your body has followed that clock, and even when you've missed, okay, I'm hungry because I didn't have lunch at this time. The same way the plants also begin to adapt. They know at this time I'm going to get my water, so they already expect it, and they're hungry for it. So it's the same way.
And what stands out a lot of times is that when food comes from most farmers, which the rural areas, then the pricing again is higher, and it's not very manageable for a lot of people who are in urban centers. So will these come and fill that gap?
I would say no, because there's a cost of infrastructure to vertical farming. Again, you have to build systems that go up. I wish we could, just grow on air, but that would like cut all this cost, like for sure. But because there's a cost of infrastructure, and if you're farming commercially, you have to include that cost into your charge. So we're not saying it'll make, if you're growing this for yourself personally, then it'll cut down your costs. And that hassle of, the transportation costs, your time, your physical energy to go and get this crop out there. But if you're doing it commercially, then you have to pass on some of those costs. But what you're certain of is you're passing on costs for even greater value. You're passing on a better crop, a more nutritious crop, a better tasting crop. So at the end of the day, if my crop is, or my yield, my harvest is way of a much better quality than what I'm getting from conventional farming, it's an easy pick for the consumer.
Okay. And you talked about the infrastructure. So how expensive or affordable is it to put it up?
So just to give you an example, our residential systems start from 8,000 shillings. And this allows you to grow like 15 different types of crop. So that's residential. That goes all the way up to 100K, depending on the space or the amount of crops you want or the complexity of the system. Commercial units begin from 250,000. That's from a 20 square meter area. So again, it depends on what you want to grow. What's your end goal? Yeah.
For the people that have bought in the idea, so what is the progress? Are they getting better produce?
Yes.
As you have said.
Yes.
Is it better quality?
Yes. Yeah. Everyone is so far happy with the system. Our systems, they're again very easy to use. So at the end of the day, you find that even some of the estimates we'll give some of our commercial suppliers, we end up exceeding those estimates. So all in all, it's a win-win. It's a system that, yes, it has its own improvements and learnings it has to go through with time, but yes.
Okay, and so then you'd say pumice is what is the now soil in this case.
Yes.
So that works better for crops than soil does.
Yes, in the sense that
what exactly is the difference?
So pumice is volcanic rock. Now volcanic rock, and in this case with pumice, is that it doesn't hold any excess water. You see, with soil you're prone to waterlogging.
Okay.
Now with pumice, whatever it doesn't need, it'll let go of. That's how we're able to recirculate our water back again. So the plant again is not like drowning in water. It has good airflow it has good airflow. So it's all better for the plant. It's never going to be in stagnant water.
And what about in terms of growing them organically? Do you grow them organically?
Yes.
So there are no additional fertilizers which are chemicals and all?
I mean, you will have there are organic supplements, because again, like a human, you do need your own you need your vitamins, your minerals. So just the same way we need those, plants need the same to grow sufficiently. So we do have organic fertilizers as well, and we have inorganic fertilizers, but none of them are harmful to the crop or to you as a human in any way. At the end of the day, you want to get a certain quality of produce, so we offer both inorganic and organic solutions.
And when I was looking at this hydroponics, the business model comes into play a lot of times. So how important is that, like, for someone to choose an appropriate business model for the hydroponics?
I think anyone who chooses hydroponics as a business model has already done their research on the benefits of hydroponics. So you do then understand that, okay, I'm getting one faster yielding crop, better quality crop. I don't have to spend a lot of money in terms of labor. And at the end of the day, I'm selling a far more superior crop than what other people are selling. So you have to consider that. vis-a-vis what conventional farmers have to consider.
Okay. And in trying to sell this idea, what are people saying on the ground? What is the difficult part to getting people to accept the idea?
I wouldn't say difficult, I just say it's more interesting. Everyone is like, you don't use soil at all, and I'm like, yeah, we don't use soil completely. And they come and they see for themselves and they're like, wow. So everyone is like, this is completely new. Some people do know about it, some people this is like a completely new concept, but at the end of the day, everyone wants, to take charge of their own produce and their own crop. So it's met with a lot of excitement. We've actually had no one ever comes with like anything negative. It's just like, I didn't know you could do this. So yeah.
They didn't know that was possible. Like
yeah.
Crops can grow out of something other than soil.
Yeah.
And farmers, the farming sector faces a lot of challenges. We know maize farmers, they're always complaining about pricing and everything else. So what would you want maybe to tell the government in terms of embracing this idea?
I think the government needs to look at ways it can support new farming inventions and innovations, such as hydroponics and vertical farming. There's completely no need for us to be importing some of these foods that we import as a country. And again, the government needs to look at how to sustain urban areas. Look at this, if there's a lockdown, say completely for Nairobi, and no food or whatever was coming in, can Nairobi survive on its own? So it's a way of providing food security that they need to think about. All in all, just again, support the youth, support innovation and invention. And let's innovate these areas. Kenya is one of the world's food baskets, but if we're not advancing with the world in agriculture and agri-tech, then we'll just be left behind and someone will just overtake us. So again, invest more in the youth, invest more in agri-tech and in hydroponics.
Okay. So is vertical farming the future of farming?
Definitely, 100%. In 10 years, it'll be a completely different story.
And the notion that farming is a dirty kind of a job. So does hydroponics sell better because people don't exactly get dirty?
Not really. People don't look at dirt as a motivating factor. It's more the ease and the convenience of it that sells more, and the value of, I don't need to worry about my food coming from, or worry about where my food is or how it's growing and all of that. It's the peace of mind that ultimately becomes a winning factor.
So when people then know where their food comes from, how easy it can be to grow their own food.
Yeah.
So that sells.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we can go ahead and look at now practically what you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super.
Size space is 16 square meters. And over here we have around 300 strawberries.
Okay.
Yeah, we also...
Okay. And first I would want to know, what is this exactly called?
So this material is called felt.
Felt.
Yeah, felt.
Okay.
So we use it for grow pouches. It's really good with letting go of excess water. So once we irrigate through this pipe, the water flows through this pouch to this one, to this one, to this one, till the drain gutter. This drain gutter goes back to the tank. You reuse the water again. Yeah.
So then when someone wants to start this hydroponics, so what they have to do, they have to invest in this as well?
Yes. So they'd invest in this. Basically, we offer the full package with the pouches, the pump, the timer, the tank as well. So the full automation system, we do that, and we give you a plug-and-play system. Yeah.
So then that water, then it ensures that excess water, if it's excess water, it drains it out, so
Yeah.
it flows to the next.
Yeah.
And for strawberries, how long do strawberries take to grow in this kind of setting?
Well, once you plant the seedling, to take around 3 months for it to start seeing the fruits, 2 to 3 months. For the first month, you actually have to cut off the flowers so that the plant roots better and gets better foliage. And from there, after a month, you let the flowers grow so you can get big fruits.
So, does this feel like it's different? I can't imagine pruning. It doesn't feel like, because farming would be, you'd have to bend.
Yeah.
So it's very different.
Yeah, it's very different, very easy. You actually enjoy this sort of farming a lot more than farming on the soil. Also with the weeds, we don't get problems like those. Yeah, so it's pretty easy.
Yeah, and when farming is this easy, I don't see a reason why not to get into.
Well, hydroponics is still a new concept.
Yeah.
So with time, people will get into it.
So, and I've had quite a number of people saying it's pretty expensive to start.
Yeah, well, it's definitely more expensive than conventional farming on the soil. But in the long term, you find your returns are actually better than conventional farming.
Yields more.
It yields more. You're getting more yield for your space. So yeah, in the long term, it might be expensive to start off, but the profits are definitely worth it.
Okay, so on this other side, it's still the strawberries.
Yeah, so it's
what else
all
do you-
strawberries, and on this side we now have herbs.
Okay.
So we have close to 200 herbs on here. So we have mint, have spring onion,
This is?
mint.
Okay.
Now we have spring onion, these ones. Have some oregano, have chives, it's chocolate mint as well. There's some thyme back here. And yeah, more mint as well. Yeah.
And you know, on a conventional farm, there's sometimes people have to shift crops. So here I planted
Yeah.
maize last
Yeah,
time, then you
yeah.
have to move and plant something else because for the soil and all.
Yeah, so that's another advantage of hydroponics, because you don't have to do all that, letting the soil rest to get more nutrients. That's something you don't have to do with hydroponics. So once you plant mint here, even next time you can still do mint, you can do any other type of plant you want. So that restriction isn't there.
So the pumice does not get tired like soil does.
No, actually, majority of our nutrients don't come from the pumice. It comes from nutrients that are mixed into the water. And for our organic farmers, we have products such as vermicompost.
Oh, so you infuse that in the water?
Yes, we also top dress as well. So like, it's just an section like this, you can top dress with the vermicompost,
Okay.
and the plant gets the nutrients it needs. Yeah.
So there's a whole different variety in just one side of it.
Yeah.
You said this is?
Chocolate mint. So you can take a leaf and can crush it and
This is how you know the smell
yeah.
better.
Yes.
And this is?
That's oregano.
So then given in the this amount of space you can have as much variety
As you want.
as you like. So and these are ready for use, right?
Yeah, actually we harvest and they grow new leaves once you harvest. So these are spring onions. Yeah, so once you chop these leaves, yes, new ones grow.
And for spring onions, how long do they take to grow and mature?
So from seedling to around this point is 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah.
Okay. So and on this other side?
So these are just our seedlings. So these are strawberries we collect from runners. So from our strawberry plants we produce runners. So we just cut them, cultivate them for a bit, and these are basically ready for consumers. People who want to start their own strawberry farms, can use this.
Okay, and what do we have down here?
So these are just capsicum that we are tending to. They're actually quite old. So they're around 9 months old. But we want to see how much longer they can go. So we're just doing some research on that.
is this
Capsicum as well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and how long do these take?
So from seedling to your first harvest, it's around 2.5 months. Yeah. So we're actually expecting our first harvest maybe in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah.
Okay, so we can continue moving around. So when do you plant? Do you have anything to plant that we can plant today?
Yeah, I think we do. We have some sukuma wiki here and some basil as well. So we can try the sukuma wiki on that side.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. So you grab yours as well, so you
Okay. All right. So it's pretty simple, just like you do in the soil. Basically, just that simple. Yeah. So just make sure the roots are covered by the media. Yeah, we're good to go.
But this is so much easier than having to bend.
Yeah.
And
At least now it's at your height level.
yeah,
so,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just like that.
Yeah, just that. The timer comes on automatically. Gives the plants water around 2 times a day.
Because it's automated.
Yeah, it's automated. So yeah, that's actually it. Once you plant, basically in a month, you already have crops this big. So for us, we harvest, and we even harvested last week. Already they're big again, so we can harvest again this week. So yeah, with sukuma, they really love this system. Broccoli as well takes around 2.5 months for it to form the ball. So this will be ready maybe in 2 weeks. Yeah.
So and how does it feel to eat food that you have farmed yourself?
It's very fulfilling. At least you're sure of all the products that you use in your food. With other farms out there and other vegetable shops out there, you're not really sure where your food is coming from. But with this, you're 100% sure of healthy eating.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this looks like what, cucumber?
Yeah, it's the cucumbers. So it's actually around the 4th harvest cycle for this same plant. Yeah, so I think once we harvest this, we'll have another 5th cycle, and that will be basically the end of their life. But yeah, they do pretty well. You find each crop gets close to 6 cucumbers. Yeah. So
And how long do cucumbers take in this setting to grow?
Around 2 to 2.5 months. Yeah.
Then they're ready for the market. Are these ready?
Yeah, this some of
harvested?
this is ready. Yeah, and most of them will be ready in, let's say, a week.
Oh,
Yeah.
so how different will they be? They'll be bigger?
They'll actually taste better. You're saying in terms of
Yes,
size?
yes.
Yeah, they'll be a bit bigger. Also, in terms of taste, you get a better taste when they're ready. For us, we also like to pickle them. So when they're ready, you get a better pickled taste than if you harvest prematurely. Yeah. So that's still a young one.
That's still I have.
Yeah.
Okay, and here, what is this?
So this is a tower garden that we're working on. Basically, it's stackable. So you can see how this is. So you can stack up to 10. So basically, just stack up to 10 of them. Yeah. And so it's a really nice system for balconies as well.
Or when you have limited space?
Yeah.
Because now it goes
Yeah,
higher.
you can stack it up to around 10 of them. Yeah. So, and each holds 4 plants. So that's 40 plants in total that you can have. Yeah.
Okay, and so for these as well, and
The crates. Yeah.
the crates, yeah. So the pricing, so that you have to buy before you start this nature of business.
Yeah.
Is it costly?
Well, Yes, it's more costly than conventional farming, but again, when you look at the returns and the maximization of your space, it's worth it in the long run. Yeah.
And the feel of those
Pumice.
pumice,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So how do you acquire the pumice?
So pumice is basically volcanic rock. So we collect it from Longonot area. Yeah, basically any area that has volcanic activity, you're more likely to get pumice. Yeah.
So do you buy the pumice?
We do buy it. Yeah.
So wouldn't people say then we'd have to buy pumice and we don't have to buy soil?
Well, there's that, but again, soil comes with its own issues as well. You have to deal with the weeds. You'll employ someone to uproot the weeds. You'll employ someone to till your land for a new season. So there are those costs that you incur with soil that you won't incur with pumice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's kind of place that we've not checked out.
It's a small herb garden.
Okay.
So here we have hibiscus that makes hibiscus tea. Yeah, so this flower, basically once it dries up, you get a seed. From that seed you can crush it and turn it into tea. So hibiscus tea, it's quite popular in Kenya these days.
I know. When it's ready, can I come get some?
Absolutely, you're always welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long does hibiscus take?
Well, from seedling, it's around, to get maybe your first flower, it's close to a month and a half. And then it will continue producing for up to around 7 to 8 months. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is?
This is lemon verbena. So this is still a young one, but once they mature, it becomes a whole bush. It has a really nice smell. If you can take a leaf and crush it and feel it. That's good, yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
What's the use?
So guys actually use it for a lot of things. I've seen hotels that use it as soap, like for the smell in soap. Basically anywhere where you need that aroma. Some people use it for tea, garnishing meals. Yeah, so there's a lot you can do with herbs. Yeah.
What this looks like?
That's lemongrass. Yeah, yeah. So it's as well also used for teas, for garnishing. It has a very rich lemon taste and smell. So yeah.
Is this rosemary?
That's rosemary, yeah.
At least I know something. I was just seeing a bunch of new things.
Yeah, so that's rosemary.
And this is?
That's turmeric.
Oh, this is what turmeric looks like.
Yeah, so basically you harvest the root, almost like potatoes. And so the root is where the turmeric.
That's where the turmeric really is.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and how long does turmeric take
To be ready,
ready for harvesting?
around 3 months. Yeah.
So, and the leaves, are they
Edible.
useful or whatever?
And it's more or less like potatoes, how you just harvest the roots. Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And the cotton lavender?
Yes, it's cotton lavender, and that's sage.
Cotton lavender is used for what exactly?
Actually, it's a really good mosquito repellent. You can take maybe a small piece and smell it. You'll get that. There's this
True.
sort of
Like what the smell from like the Mortindom zone and
yeah,
stuff?
yeah. So you can use it actually as a natural repellent in your home. You plant it around your home. Same as sage. It also has that really.
This is sage.
Yeah, that's sage. You can also take a leaf and smell. So you can crush it. Yeah. So those are mosquito repellents, pest repellents. Once you have those near or outside your home, yeah, you're good to go. You don't have to keep buying mosquito nets and all these other and mosquito coils.
Yeah.
It's a natural way to repel.
And then they also look good.
Yeah, they do.
So for the aesthetic
Yeah.
and then for the function as well.
Yeah.
And last but not least,
So that's thyme. So this is used to garnish meats, barbecues. It's a great herb. Actually, even teas as well. You can use it in teas. It's a great all-around herb.
okay.
Yeah.
So from this amount of space, we have how many plants do we have here?
So basically we
Varieties.
have how many varieties?
Yeah.
Close to 10, I'd say. Yeah, but this is a demo site. For most people, maybe they choose just one crop to grow. So let's say if it was strawberries and we had just filled this whole space with strawberries, we'd have close to 2,000 strawberries. So that would be the same as having an eighth an acre, yeah, with strawberries.
So again, it depends with what one wants to farm.
Yes.
You can have as much variety as you want, as you
Yes,
please,
yeah.
or you can choose to focus on one thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the strawberries, are they ready?
Yeah, you can have one if you like. Just can choose.
Wow, they can grow really big.
Yeah, they do. I think this one looks quite
This
right.
one's ready?
Yeah. So you just pluck it from like here.
From here?
Yeah, yeah.
So I break it?
Basically just like this.
Oh.
Yeah. So you'll wash that first and then you can eat
Alright.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Everything. So, and maybe just an advice or whatever that you'd give people who are looking to get into farming. They don't have space, but again, they do not want to spend so much money.
Well, with hydroponics, especially with the young people out here, there's a lot of room for experimentation, a lot of room to do stuff yourself. So I think if you have the motivation, even without money, you can still find a way into hydroponics. So yeah, I think it's all about the motivation and the desire to get into farming.
Thank you so much. I think it's time I
You're
watch
welcome.
this today and have a
Sure,
taste of
enjoy
what
it.
it means that has grown in pumice and in this
And
kind of
cocoa
sand.
pits.
Yes,
Yeah.
and cocoa pits.
Enjoy it.
So let's talk about the structure.
Okay.
How long does it take to put it up?
For greenhouse this size, this is 16 square meters. So it would take us roughly 3 days to put this up.
So what exactly is required?
Well, you'd require the metal for the frame. You'd also require the insect netting that allows air to ventilate in and out of the greenhouse, but doesn't allow insects in. You'd also require the greenhouse paper. And finally, you require these spring loaders that are here. So they're used to tighten the paper to the frame.
And so when someone wants to get into this business, so then they have to incur that cost. Is it a lot?
Well, when you look at it in terms of the returns that you get, it's actually quite affordable because it will pay for itself in a year or two.
And what about, so the sizes vary as well?
Yes, they do.
So depending on how much space someone has?
Yeah. So it depends on the space you have, also the budget you have, and the crops you're looking to grow as well.
So depending on how much money I have and the space that I have, it can be custom made to fit that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And you talked about the water system that is automated
Yes.
inside.
Yes.
So how does that exactly work?
So basically, all our systems come with a tank. So inside the tank, we put a submersible pump.
So
It's
This
actually
is the-
no, it's actually right there behind the greenhouse. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So I'll take you there. So basically, inside the tank, we have a submersible pump, and this submersible pump is then connected to a timer. So the timer tells the pump to come on, be at 9 in the morning, switch itself off at 9:02, come on at noon, switch itself off after 2 minutes. So that's the job of the timer, and basically is the heart behind the whole automation process. So with that, so the pump is able to come on and off, water the plants. The water that's recycled back to the tank is then used again and pumped again during the next watering cycle. Yeah.
So we can have a look at the pump.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the tank.
Yes, this is a 200-liter tank.
Okay.
So there's a submersible pump inside there that's connected to our timer. So the green pipe takes the water and irrigates the plants. And you can see this gray pipe that comes back again. That's for the drainage water. It's drained in here and then you
Also,
reuse.
it's a recycling.
Yeah, it's a constant
So this is now
recycle.
how you don't spend so much water.
Yes, exactly.
Because it goes on to water, then it drains back.
Yeah,
And the whole process.
and just reuse and recycle. Yeah. So
So
that's
then
it.
you said something about the timer
Yeah.
because it's automated.
Yes.
So how does that work here exactly?
So basically, the pump runs on electricity. So at the electrical sockets, instead of connecting the pump directly to the sockets, connect it to the timer. The timer is then connected to the socket. So this timer has around 18 programs that you can put into it. So for us, we only need 3 programs. So in the morning to water for 2 minutes, at noon to water for another 2 or 3 minutes, and in the evening for another 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how much water is required for the plants.
Yeah, so basically 10 plants require around a liter every day. Yeah, so and still most of this 1 liter of water is still recycled back into the system. So you find for 10 plants, you're using close to 500 mLs a day. Yeah.
So say in this much water that is here, how long can it?
So it can last about
Irrigate.
a week. Yeah. So after a week is when we'd come fill it up again. Yeah,
So it saves a lot of water.
yeah, it does. It does. Because in the farm, once you water, it just goes into the soil and it disappears. But with this, you're recycling, you're able to reuse that same water. So you're actually not also wasting the nutrients, as compared to conventional farming.
So hence the good quality skumas that we have seen.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
With yields 20 times higher than the normal production volume, vertical farming seems to be the ultimate solution for the modern day farmer who is looking to use less and gain more. For Food Thursday, I am Nancy Nalima.